Probation officer David Poling sadly lost his life in the line of duty. So when his daughter, Mikayla Wroten, married years later, his absence was sorely felt. However, when she saw a man in uniform walk into the room, it made her entire day. David achieved a lot in his short life. After enjoying a career in the military as a Marine, he went on to serve in the Gallia County Sheriff's Office in Ohio. After his stint there, he joined the Gallipolis Police Department before gaining a job as a probation officer. According to his colleagues, David was made for law enforcement. He always got his man. David's former boss, Gallia County Sheriff David Martin, told the Columbus Citizen Journal in 2007. As a result, his death came as a shock to everyone. In May 2007, David was helping a Gallipolis cop to capture Joseph Harris. However, before law enforcement could apprehend the suspect, he fled down a city street. As a result, David decided to chase after him. The probation officer followed Harris down to the banks of the Ohio River. However, rather than handing himself over, the suspect decided to leap into the waters and make his way to a nearby island. David entered the river in pursuit but never surfaced. A state trooper and a police officer both followed David into the river. However, they were unable to save him. 9 hours after the chase broke out, David's body was taken from the water. He was only 32 at the time of his passing. Harris was later tracked down on the island and taken into custody. He was eventually found guilty of involuntary manslaughter and received 4 years in prison as punishment. However, while justice had been done, David's death left a huge hole in his loved ones' lives. When David died, he left behind a wife and 2 children, who were just 9 and 4 at the time. Consequently, they grew up without the presence of their father at all the milestone occasions in their lives, but they were determined to keep their dad's memory alive. So when David's oldest daughter, Mikayla, was planning her wedding in October 2017, she wanted to ensure her father was somehow involved. All brides dream of having their dad walk them down the aisle, but since Mikayla's couldn't, she carried a fitting tribute instead. As she met her husband-to-be at the end of the aisle, Mikayla clutched a special bouquet containing her father's photo in her hands. Alongside the image were the simple words, "Walk with me today, Daddy." And that wasn't the only way that Mikayla chose to honor her father. The bride also had David's Marine boots and portrait sat front and center at the ceremony, where he would have been, she explained to ABC News in 2017. While it was obvious that the bride would be thinking of her absent father on her wedding day, David wasn't far from other guests' mind either. In particular, his former colleagues were keen to give Mikayla a little bit of her father on her special day, so they came up with the most wonderful surprise. When the time came for Mikayla's first dance with her husband, David's police buddies slipped off to get changed. When they reappeared, they were each wearing their uniforms, in a moving nod to the bride's father. Describing the moment she laid eyes on her father's friends, Mikayla said, "The first cop walked out. He was a state trooper, and I just lost it. Everyone was in uniform, and I was just like, oh my gosh. I fell into his chest, and I lost it." Once her shock had died down, Mikayla danced with each of the men to "I Loved Her First" by Heartland. They all took turns dancing with me, she explained. The sheriff was my dad's best friend, and he danced with me last, so I was super emotional when he danced with me. The dance was a special moment, not just for Mikayla, but for the men who'd worked with her dad. Later, Sheriff Matt Chaplin said helping his colleague be a part of his daughter's wedding was really important. Chaplin added, "Each and every one of us carry around a little piece of Dave with us every day. It was important to give that back to her on her wedding day. She knew before we came out he was there with her, but when we walked out in uniform, she definitely knew her dad was there with her." While Mikayla's stepdad filled David's shoes to walk her down the aisle and share her father-daughter dance, the bride said it was very, very emotional not having her biological dad at her wedding. As a result, the action of her father's co-workers were very special indeed. They said they wanted me to see my dad on my wedding day, Mikayla revealed. That was their goal, to be there for me and to show me how much they love me and appreciate me. So thanks to David's police colleagues, Mikayla was able to have a part of her dad there at her wedding. And for that, she'll always be grateful. "I'm so appreciative of it and I'm thankful for them," she said. I told every single one of them I loved them and how much it meant to me for them to be there for me.